Jiminy Cricket. There we go. The SaaS product that I'm building the admin thing for, it generates sort of walk-on non-player characters for when I'm running my D&D games, and in particular, it's the NPCs that I haven't planned. So it's not going to be like the key NPCs that I've already written, like the big bad guy or the local mayor or the king or whatever. It's the blacksmith and the shopkeeper and the tavern lady and stuff like that. Yeah, basically the actual class name is townsperson in the SaaS application. And if you've ever run a D&D game and your players are into like role playing, you'll say you walk into the blacksmith and there's the grumpy old blacksmith behind his thing, and hey, I'm such and such. What's your name? Says one of the players, and you're like, Bob. And you end up with a world populated with Bobs and Sallys. This kind of helps you get around that by generating these background characters. And of course, you can save them to your database and bring them back later, and it really just makes the world much richer. And this is sort of like the first feature. It's the minimum viable product. There's a lot of other things I want to build into what I'm calling the DM's familiar. But before I get to that, because this first feature is pretty much ready, before I get to that, I want to be able to sell what I've got. Kira, eventually she'll be a part of the cast. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Akira the AI, got Dreams and Aspirations too. Oh, that's so cool. That's really neat. That's really, really neat. That's so much fun. So you built that as a Twitch bot type thing? That's super cool. Oh, too cool. That's awesome, dude. So you've got obviously you've got some sort of speech to text analysis that you feed the audio stream into. It sends back the text, and then you're reading that into some sort of probably like a token database or something like that. Like you're tokenizing things, and then you've got some retrieval augmented generation that reads in uh, utterances, compares it to the previous utterances, and then uses that to form the as grounding data for the response. That's super cool. That's really cool. I'm gonna follow you. There's stuff I want to talk about with those kinds of things because I've got some ideas too. And unfortunately, I am one person. I'm unemployed, so my time is spent between doing this, which I'm mostly doing as a teaching thing, and um, looking for work. And of course, the day-to-day adulting that comes with having a house and a family and people that I don't want to have to leave to their own devices in terms of like grocery shopping and errands and so on and so forth. So this is the initial validation loop. If we get to here, I want to bail out early on this stuff. If response dot has errors, we're going to get out. Otherwise, let's build an empty user profile with the information we have about their identity. Python-based backend, which connects to a Unity client. Oh, that's super cool. That's super cool. Yeah, I haven't messed with machine vision or anything like that. My setup is a MacBook Air with the M2 chip and like 8 gigs of RAM, and that's a regret. Just the 8 gigs of RAM part. I love the M2 and I love the Mac. I have an old Windows laptop with like an ancient GPU, like so old it can't be used for CUDA. Um, but it's got 24 gigs of RAM, so I can host some decently sized models in it. It's just a little slow. And I've been playing with Phi 3 for those. The project's coming, C Films. Customer profile, no. I don't want a new profile. I need a var subscription equals new subscription. Status will be none. What are you doing, Rob? What are the models I have in here? Customer subscription. Customer subscription. So let's get rid of this and see which current status equals none. Subscription ID, that's not even a property on there. Quotas, user ID equals profile.userID. Start date equals UTC now. History equals. We're not going to do that. End date UTC equals add years. No. Quotas are zeros. Will renew. Let's say no. So I've just identified some gaps here. And we need some subscription definitions. Because when somebody comes in and signs up, they establish their identity, and their identity will kick over here to build the profile. The profile is going to have the user ID and display name that's gotten from the identity system. They will not have a you know what? We don't let's reserve subscription for now, only for paid subscribers. And if we've gotten this far, we actually have a basic profile. I actually want to take a look at the customer profile object over here. So we've got user ID, display name, a nullable subscription, and a subscription status. So I'm going to set that down here. Profile dot subscription status equals free user. And that's all we need to do for now. Now there's AD groups that they're going to need to be part of to be able to log into the app. And that means I need a new class library because these subscription things dev dad dot SaaS admin dot subscription dot catalog dot abstractions. And let's just make sure it's going to go into the right place. So source, resource access, open Sesame, create the project. Class 1 we're going to rename to I catalog access. We're going to need, come on, a new class. And it is going to be subscription template. Now, prop, string, SKU. SKU stands for stock keeping unit. We'll use this as a stand-in, as a replacement for ID. Prop. List of strings, no, string array. String array. Supply confers membership in this is a array of groups that anyone with this SKU will receive membership in. Prop. Int renewal period. Describes how often the subscription will renew. What are you doing, Rob? Prop. Object. Resource grants. All of these are going to be leave them alone. I'm going to need to set a constructor on this. Skew. String.empty. Array of empty strings. Renewal period is 0. Resource grants equals null. There we go. Now, the subscription template, we can iterate and expand on that as necessary. iCatalog access is no longer a class. Interface, iCatalog access. Task of catalog item. Catalog item async. I'm going to call it skew. What did I call it? Subscription template. Got to spell it right. Task of IEnumerable subscription template. Yes, but no. Filter. Catalog. Filter item of subscription template. Array. Filter. For now, string array. We're going to expand on that. And instead of returning an IEnumerable of subscription template, new file, filtered subscription item. Copy needs to be a class. Named that. Catalog access, blah, 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 blah. Let's come back over to subscription template. Skew. prop string name prop string description. And let's initialize those values up top. So, Caveman, are you running any kind of LangChain or anything like that in your Python app? Or, some sort of agent type framework? Or are you pretty much just straight up just scripting the ingestion pipeline manually and not messing with all that agentic crap? I love the idea behind agentic AI usage, but I feel like the tech and the systems aren't quite mature enough yet to propose those things as serious production ready solutions. Prop string SKU prop string name excuse me, prop string description. Oh no, that's cool, man. Do what you got to do. So are you in your Python app, are you running something like LangChain or some other kind of agentic framework? I know there's a bunch of them that the various vendors are trying to push. I'm using semantic kernel over here on the .NET side of things for my AI integration. Yeah, that makes some sense. Embedding in tool definitions, stuff like that. Yeah, I haven't played with LangChain a whole lot, mostly because I don't spend a ton of time in Python. I find Python is excellent for initial pipeline development and figuring out like the prompts and all of that stuff. Yeah, I have a project that I'm kind of playing with in secret that I haven't shared with anybody yet. That I use a vector. I'm using a vector DB, and I'm just running Redis in a container for that. Hey, what's up, maybe? Hey, what's up? I do keep getting distracted, and I just got raided. Hello, peoples. Yeah, I haven't messed with Open Graph. Is that a GraphDB type thing, Caveman? I dig the more distraction. Okay, cool. Yeah, I haven't even gotten into figuring out how to use GraphDBs yet, but I'll get there. SKU, we're just going to initialize these properties to empty. And I've got my catalog access over here. I've got a couple of methods on it. We can expand that as necessary. Custom builder errors. And I need to create an implementation. So what I'm going to do for my product catalog is I'm going to spin up a new class library. And it's going to be called dev.saasadmin.catalog.constant. Nope. Hard coded. And we got to make sure it goes into the right directory. Hot dog is very distracting. That's a very distracting hot dog. I dare say it may even have a threatening aura. I am working on the admin part of my, or an admin system for the SaaS product that I want to release. at some point in the not too distant future. So I need to add a project reference over here to my internal framework because I forgot something important there. So pop over to iCatalog Access, and it is iResource Access Service. Save. I really don't want a hot dog to chase me down the street with a bat. Can the bat pick him up and flap down the street, or is it like not the flappy kind of bat, but the I fear guns. I'm not a big fan of firearms. So I'm just going to call this the static catalog provider. And it's going to implement iCatalog access. And I need to add my project reference. Add project reference. I need, where is my catalog? Here we go. I'm also going to want my SaaS admin IFX. It is kind of a scary way to raid a stream with like heavily armed hot dogs. Implement the interface. And I'm just going to add a little comment here. This class provides the subscription and product catalog as manually built, hard-coded subscription template definitions. I have only a couple subscription kinds at the moment, and they're not subject to very much change as of today. Just hard coding them here. The testing of the project is going. It's I'm making progress slowly but surely. See films. All right, now let's build the constructor. It will have no parameters. I don't know why that freaked out and gave me a class 1 instead of that, but cool. I need to change the name of the file to static catalog provider. There we go. And we're just going to have private list of subscription templates catalog. Catalog equals populate catalog. We'll run down here. Private void. Nope. List of subscription template. Populate catalog. Out to the end, fix that up. And list of subscription template. Is a new. We're going to return catalog. Filter catalog, list of, not subscription template, use silly goose. I created a filtered subscription item. Filtered subscription item, filtered, equals new, return, filtered, whoop, task.from result. As enumerable. Cool. And then get catalog item async. The first thing we got to do is add a bunch of these things. Catalog.add new subscription template and SKU equals GM familiar free. Display name equals the DM's familiar free tier. And that's not display name, that's just name. Description equals provides access to the random NPC generator and access to and any characters created and saved during a paid subscription time. What other properties do we have? Renewal period equals subscription renewal periods. I think we should define that in our programs framework. New file, enum, subscription renewal kinds. Permanent and monthly. And that's it. Equals subscription renewal kinds dot permanent renewal period is what? It's an integer. So I don't want to do that as an enum. I want to rename this renewal periods. Rename this symbol from kinds to periods. And this becomes a class. public const int permanent equals -1, 30. There we go. Testing of my project is going okay, C-Films. I don't know if I already responded to you or not. Now, the subscription renewal periods. I'm going to change this. Rename renewal frequencies. There we go. And I'm going to set that to 0. Describes the number of days between subscription renewals. Public const int array valid frequencies equals permanent monthly. What are you complaining about? There, I'll do it like that. So valid frequencies, permanent monthly. Okay, cool. So static catalog provider. Renewal period is that. And what other properties? Confers membership in equals. I'll have to go get those group names in a minute. Oh, I anthropomorphize everything, Killara. It's some people might call it a bad habit. I strongly disagree. I need to add another new file, and it is going to be a class, and it is going to be intra groups. Here we go. Describes the groups as defined in MS Entra that are relevant to users of this SaaS app. And public const string free users equals, and I can't remember the group name. Right now I've just got free users and paid users. Users of this SaaS app that can be manipulated via the admin system. There are some other groups that must only ever be assigned membership by me, or, God forbid I become amazingly successful with this and have to hire some people. That'd be a great problem to have. I don't expect to have it. public read-only string array. And what did I call that? Valid frequencies, valid groups for users and paid users. So that's that. Confers membership in equals new string array, enter group stuff for users. Cool. And then finally, there was one more thing, resource grants equals null. Okay. Save. And I normally stop after an hour, but I've got a whole bunch of y'all in here, and we're having some fun. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take like a 5 or 10 minute break. Let's call it an intermission. Yes, yell at the code and assert dominance. I'm going to take a very short intermission, and then I'm going to come back here, finish fleshing out this resource provider, and then show y'all how I integrate it into the main application. I'll be right back. Okay, maybe not even 5 or 10 minutes, maybe just a couple of minutes. Okay, so these resource grants. I need to define what a resource grant is. New file, class, resource grant. And it's going to have a metered resource kinds. It's going to be public resource kind. Get set. Prop int budget. Prop bool refresh on renew. All right. And I spelled that wrong. Resource kind. Here we go. What kind of metered resource are we controlling with this? And you know what? I think initial budget, prop, int, renewal budget. The number of resources that are granted when the grant is applied. The number of resources that are granted when a grant is renewed. This describes the kind of resource, how many are initially added to a user quota, and how many and what a post renewal quota should be set to. Some resources start over every month. Some resources need to be limited for the life of the account. AI tokens, stored objects. There we go. So we've got that. Resource grants equals and I need to come into this definition on this property, and it will be a list of resource grant. Is that what I called it? Yeah. Public class resource grant. Okay. What are you complaining about? Generate type resource grant. Don't be a goof. I'm in the same darn namespace, right? Subscription, catalog abstractions. Oh, you goon. I put it in the wrong namespace. Put it in the wrong project. Let's copy that. Delete it from here. Bye. And this is my abstractions. New file class. Resource grant. And let's just do that. Bring in the namespace. Oh, stop. project reference. There we go. Using that, save. Subscription template. Resource grant equals new list of resource grant. Private set. There we go. Back out to the provider because that is inaccessible. Private list of resource grant. Get free subscription grants. And with a free subscription, let's just do that. NPC storage, initial budget, I'm going to say 5. Renewal budget is 0. No AI details at the free tier because I've heard horror stories. I can't afford to give away AI tokens right now. Maybe once I've got 1,000 users paying me $10 a month each, I can afford to give away some AI descriptions up front. But for now, I can't afford to be giving away money. And instead of GM familiar, we're going to call it DM familiar free. And for folks to put their own AI keys in. Yeah, you know what? I don't really want to mess with that at this point in time. I'm doing this wrong. Instead of catalog.add, subscription template, free template equals, I gotta spell template correct. There we go. And we'll just use the shortcut there. And free template dot resource grants dot add range, get free subscription grants. And we'll add another subscription template. Oh, yeah, we'll add the free template. Now, subscription template. Now, why am I doing this as hard-coded crap? Provides access to the random NPC generator up to 100 AI descriptions per month and storage space for up to 100 NPCs. Renewal period is monthly. It also confers intragroups.free users, paid users. Do that. Paid template. Get paid subscription grants. And all I'm going to do here is copy, paste, paid. Now our storage, our initial budget is 100. The renewal budget is 0 because I got to pay for that storage as it grows. And what this renewal budget means is when the subscription renews, I set your overall budget for NPC AI details to this. I don't add it. So return grants, cool. Now, why am I doing this in a hard-coded way and not putting it all in a database somewhere or what have you? 2 reasons, really. Number one, this isn't going to change all that often. So it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to spin up a database table that for the foreseeable future is going to have exactly 2 records in it. And those records aren't going to change very often. So I don't need to add all of that infrastructure and all that extra goo and all that extra code. So filtered equals new, string filter, we'll deal with that later. Get catalog item async, DM familiar free, DM familiar, paid, PD, monthly. Yeah, those are fine. Monthly subscription. Okay. Free subscription grants, paid subscription grants, groovy. Save. And do we want to cover filtering here? No. String skew. Make this nullable. And I do need to update the contract to say that could be null. Save. Come out to the catalog provider here and say subscription template equals null. Return template. Task.from result. Yeah. Private, async. No, you know what? Screw it. Template equals catalog dot find, yeah, single, and x dot skew equals skew, double equals task dot from result template. What are you complaining about? You know what? Screw it. First or default. There. Good enough. Filtered equals catalog dot select dot to list new. Come on, Rob. Filtered subscription item. There. To do. Create generic filter capability and integrate it here. Save. There's a pattern I use for this kind of thing. We'll get to it, but not today. Right now, what I want to do is integrate this service that I've just created into my manager and customer builder. The very first things I have to do are come out to program.cs. Well, I guess yeah. And I need to add project references, both for the abstractions and we need that. What do you mean? Show error. I should probably just build stuff. Build exit code 1. There's a problem in here somewhere. Variable my user ID is assigned but is never used, whatever. And that lacks a weight. Okay, fine. Let's take a look at dependencies and projects. And we're going to have to bring this all the way over here. Catalog abstractions, catalog hard-coded, good. We've got the table provider, entra. Okay. Probably don't need this. Why is it complaining? Yeah. This is one of the things I don't like about VS Code. Source access is the dependency management stuff. There's a few things I don't care for. Yeah, ReSharper is nice, but ReSharper is also not free. Catalog abstractions, okay. This is .NET 8. I wonder if catalog abstractions got created under .NET 9. Yep. 8. Save. Save. Resource access service, blah, blah, blah. Here's the builder. Can we build now? Yeah, it is for personal use, but because I intend to make money with this, I think that disqualifies me from the personal use type thing. Okay, those are all good now. Yeah, see, as soon as my application goes live, I'm making money from it. And so then I got to start paying JetBrains all kinds of money. So I've stayed away from it. There's some things like Sync Fusion has these Blazor controls where you actually qualify to use it personally until you've raised $3 million. And I'm considering kicking the tires on those at some point. Okay, so we've got this new component, right? I'm going to leave Customer Builder open, static catalog provider, subscription template, iCatalog access. We'll keep this open. So my manager, that's the guy that runs all of my workloads. He's going to need access to the abstractions. And you see here, the manager project only refers to those abstractions projects. So let's add a project reference to my catalog abstractions. Happy. And let's come into the customer account manager. And private, read-only, iCatalog access, catalog access. I can make this non-nullable now. So I come down here, and anybody that's done a bunch of .NET development knows that dependency injection is relatively easy. You just do this stuff, and catalog access equals catalog access. Save that, and get account builder. Well, the customer builder is also going to need that catalog access. So private read-only iCatalog access, catalog access, save, and do the dependency dance down here as well. There we go. Add it in here. And customer account manager, customer builder, I have to feed it catalog access because that customer builder hasn't got an interface. It's an internal class only, my customer builder, because I don't want it available outside of the customer account manager module. Now, I could try and spin up my application at this point. And it's going to fail because I haven't registered that catalog access as a service. Here we go. No service for type. iCatalog access has been registered. Cool. Stop that. Now, out here in Program 1 CS, we've got our build utility provider, and the only thing in the build utility provider is our logger. When I build and add in the thing that's going to call out to my payment processor or the payment processor that I'm going to work with, I'll add an HTTP client, just like an untyped thing here, so that the HTTP client factory will be in these global utilities. But that's it. And the main app services, well, I don't configure those here in Program CS. I've got this add app architecture thing that's part of the framework that I've created. And to add a service that one of my components needs, all I do is I come into appsettings.json, and let's see here. So I've defined this module for account management. It's the iAccount manager. It's got some dependencies. Let's collapse some of these. So there's the logger. Here's the user identity access. Here's the user account access. It's got its dependencies as well. Let's leave this guy open just so that I've got something to crib from. And the first things I need, well, this is really it. So we'll copy this, run down in here. Yes. Well, no. Whenever you update the app settings, when you're in a served environment, typically it's going to tear down and rebuild your program. So iCatalog access. And the name of that is saasadmin.catalog.abstractions. .abstractions. We're going to have it as a scoped. The implementation is going to be in catalog dot. What did I call that? Hard-coded? Yep. And it doesn't have any configs. Goodbye. Save. So, we're talking about volatility here, right? The kinds of things that go into appsettings.json are the types of things that really only it's okay if the app restarts itself when you change them. So the description of the architecture and so on and so forth. I've got a .env file, which I'm not going to show you because it's got some secrets and some credentials and stuff like that in it that I use for local development. It's in my git ignore, and that .env file gets read into and incorporated into the overall configuration object when the application starts. But with .NET dependency injection, the traditional way of using it is to have a single DI container that holds every possible component that any of the components in your system might depend on. And that kind of makes me crazy because I want to have my system composed of subsystems. So that's what these modules are, right? A module is like the top level subsystem that Program CS can access components from. Or if I were to turn this into an API, my API would have direct access to anything in this top level modules area. So it would have access to an iAccount manager. But all of these dependencies of iAccount manager, so my user identity access, the user account access, the catalog access, I need to change that. That's just a logical name. The catalog access, the main program doesn't have any visibility to those. And that means a well-meaning, but perhaps in a rush developer can just grab my catalog access and inject that into whatever they're building. And then let's say I make a change to catalog access somewhere down the road. I'm going to break their stuff without knowing it. And that's a big problem. So what I've done is I've isolated all of these components dependencies inside that every component that I write has its own dependency and its own dependency container. And these dependencies get added to my account management's dependency container and not the main global scope. I can also do things like add these global behaviors, which captures a timestamp before I call the actual method, runs the method, captures another timestamp after the method exits, and then writes out to the log that it executed in so many seconds, milliseconds, microseconds, whatever. And I can turn these global behaviors on and off at will just by removing them from here. I could apply them at the dependency or the module level as well, just as easily. So there we go. I should be able to now run my application, and in my customer builder, not load or build customer, but in create local profile, if I go to the definition, if it has errors, we're a free user, there isn't a subscription, a paid subscription. This is a brand new user. So let's add a subscription created from the free template. Var free sub specification equals catalog dot get catalog item async. And I can't remember what that template SKU was called. So let's look it up real quick. I'm just going to cheat. That needs to be promoted to a constant somewhere at some point. For now, I'm going to run out here and say await. And then all we're going to do is we're going to interrogate this free sub spec when it comes back. I'll do the conversion into the actual subscription, probably offline, and talk through it in tomorrow morning's session. Because I do need to put a burn on and start getting this admin system actually built so that I can start selling my product. So these live streams are going to become sort of live coding as well as review of what I've done since last stream type things. So let's save and run it. And I want to see what happens when we stop here. Okay, request failed exception, core lib, the specified resource does not exist. Okay, so something doesn't exist. User entity, table client. Okay, of course, because the account ID. All right, I need to add some error handling up in here. So I'll do that offline, and then we'll review, and it'll all be good. I'm actually surprised. No, I'm not surprised it tried to load, but that's okay. All right, I do need to end the stream because I've got adulting to do and real life stuff. So thanks for the raid. I'm really glad y'all came to join me. Pleased to meet you, Pluto, and all of the other new people. And Caveman, if you're still here, thanks for hanging out. Sounds like you've got a really, really cool project on the go yourself. And I'll see y'all next time. Until then, Happy coding. Take care, friends.